Because if you're not able to tell people what you do in like 30 seconds and how you're able to help them, you probably don't have an offer. You don't spend a lot of time in marketing. I know this because marketing was always like, so I'm not obviously, but I'm a hard skills person. I'm a builder, I'm a construction project manager. So I'm an engineer by profession. And marketing's always been like, those are the commerce people. I'm too intelligent to be a marketer. Like, no. I'm far cleverer than this.
So it's like something that helps you make money,
and then that money makes money. Life is a compounded effect of the decisions and the choices that we make. Obviously, yes, there are things outside of our decisions and our choices that live outside of that. Oh no, you never asked that. That's not the first question.
Hello, Resonate community, and welcome to the best, the biggest sales and entrepreneurship podcast in the whole wide world. Today, once again, super excited to have the guest that I have because today we're going to talk all things sales funnel, business, marketing. I have the other half of Club She Is. I've got a powerhouse who's going to teach us so many things, so many questions you guys have been asking, so many questions I know that you've got in your mind, but I've been so embarrassed to ask anybody. Today, I'm going to ask our guest those questions. Today, I have Nyaki Shabangu. Nyaki, thank you so much for joining us.
It's an absolute pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, it's such a pleasure. So just to give our audience a brief of who you are, we spoke to Kopano a few weeks ago on the podcast, and she shared like such amazing gems. Literally, the video right now is doing, I think, better than all of our other videos.
I must disclaim though, I'm not a gem dropper like Kopano, so don't if this is the lowest watched thing, I've already said it might just be. So don't peg me on her standard, please.
So I was gonna say the Club She Is in the building. Hard shoes to fill.
Yeah. No.
No pressure. But I know you're going to be awesome. We were having a conversation before we started recording, and I was like, oh my God. So I can't wait to expose everybody to that conversation. I want to give them a brief of who you are and what you do, because I got this from your website, and I thought, this is such interesting context. Amongst being the co-founder of Club She Is, you're a certified digital marketing strategist. And it says that you help business owners generate income by using social media and digital marketing. You're also an investor, which is nice because I really want to get into that quite a bit more. And then you share on making money and money babies.
Yes.
What is money babies?
Money babies are the money the money that your money makes.
Is the money that the money makes?
Yes.
So it's like something that helps you make money?
And then that money makes money.
It's like a reproductive...
dividends and investments, your growth on your money.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's money babies.
All right. I want to get a little bit more into that. But before we get into it, we normally start our podcast with a 5 round of questions to get to know who Nyaki is, to kind of know the person that we're talking to.
I prepared for these.
Okay, Nyaki, what's the one thing about you that surprises people when they first meet you?
Oh, no, you never asked that. That's not the first question. The first question is, what do you look forward to in the morning?
I know
I have an answer for that one. Oh, God.
I know a lot of people watch our podcast now and they're like, yes, this is what I'm going to say. So now we're switching things up.
Okay, can you ask the question again?
What's the one thing about you that surprises people when they get to know you?
When they get to know me or when they meet me?
So maybe let's do when they get to know you. Because I think when they meet you, like if somebody meets you for the first time, they might not get much.
When people get to know me, they will learn that I am a very intentional person. That's probably,
Like the thing that surprises them the most.
Yes, but very like almost to a fault,
really?
quite intense.
Does everything
I'm a quite intense person.
need to have a meaning with you?
Yes.
Like everything.
A lot of things.
Okay.
A lot of things.
Okay.
Yes.
That's interesting.
Yeah, but I'm also fun sometimes. I try.
Sometimes.
When I prepare for it, yeah.
When you already know how you're going to be fun.
If you okay, today we're going to have fun, then I'll know, okay, I'm bringing my fun. Yes.
Okay. All right. Okay, cool. So what's the strangest job you've ever had before your current profession? Or your current
strangest job?
Yeah.
Well, I'm a builder by profession, so that's pretty strange.
What do you mean? Builder?
I've worked on construction sites. So my undergrad is construction management.
Wow.
So I'm a builder, so I'm a qualified hard hats, safety boots, gum boots. Well, safety boots, not gum boots. Safety boots, blue overalls.
Yeah.
Probably that. Like I've worked on site before.
Yeah.
Maybe that's the weirdest.
Have you like actually built bricks and stuff?
Yeah. Yeah.
That is interesting.
Yeah, I'm quite a technical person. Like,
Okay.
yes.
That is very interesting. And I think when you say that, I can see how you and Kopano make such a perfect match.
Why? Because she's not?
Kopano, I hope you're listening. Now, I can definitely see the different sides of like brains being put together.
Yes, yeah, no, we are definitely very two different brains
Yeah.
putting together, yeah.
Shucks. Okay. Interesting. I was so intrigued when I saw your website and all the work that you've done with this money babies conversation. And then I stumbled on a video where you said that you want to retire at 40.
Yes.
Tell me what's the idea? Like, when did you get to a point where you're like, okay, this is actually what I want to do now? Like, I want to retire.
When I was 23. Yeah, no, I just like, I mean, the intentionality of my life, I suppose, is that I just believe inherently that everyone needs to you have to be quite intentional about your life. Otherwise, you kind of look back on it and, you think like, oh, okay, what have I done with my life? And so I think when I turned, probably just before I got married, I wrote my dear 40-year-old self letter. So the letter that I wish I hope to read when I turn 40. And so thinking at 40, looking back into my 20s and 30s, how would I want to have lived my life? And so the financial freedom has always been something that's like been priority into my life. Just because I value my time. And I don't want to I don't want to have to work beyond a specific age because I want to do the things that I love doing. I want to spend time with my husband. I want to travel. I want to impart. I want to do fun stuff. And money has always been a thing, or at least having to work for money is always the thing that stops people from doing that. And so we committed very early on that was going to be our thing.
Yeah. What do you think stops the average person from like making more money or eventually reaching those age goals? Because I asked this to say, when we all like in our 19s, 20s, 21, it's like by 30, I am going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yeah.
And then we reach 30 and it just feels like I feel stuck or I feel like I'm having to start again. And there then becomes a wave where people are like, don't attach goals to your age, and which is like a movement that I've seen in the past few years. What do you think stops people from getting there?
I think the intention. I think at 25 years old, after you've been working for 3 years, you go buy yourself an A-class. Like, that's a decision that you make.
Yes.
And it's a $1 million car.
Yeah.
And I'm not abdicating because we made the same decisions at some point, right?
Yeah.
But the decisions that you make ultimately are the things that you're going to look back on.
Yeah.
And the earlier you snap out of making decisions for the now and snap into making decisions for the future, I think the better your life becomes. So I think that's the difference. It's just the intent.
I like that because when you have intent, you then start putting together a plan on how it's going to work out. So it's not just like a dreamy statement I've put out there.
Yeah, I think there's obviously the plan, and we plan and we order our steps and God directs us where to go.
Yeah.
But there is a level of like decision making that you make, right? Life is a compounded effect of the decisions and the choices that we make. Obviously, yes, there are things outside of our decisions and our choices that live outside of that. But a lot of us get ourselves into the situations that we're in. Like it's not, life happens to all of us. So
that's true. Sure. Part of the work that, and I was even saying this to Kopano, that I love that Club She Is does is like, you guys are opening up conversations with women to say that like, it doesn't have to always be like that. Like you don't always have to be stuck at that job. You could get a promotion and still run a side hustle that you're very passionate about. And I'm curious to hear from you, what do you think is the big hurdle that people are facing when it comes to starting their side hustles?
I suppose the right answer is to say like we don't believe in ourselves, but I think we don't prioritize it. Like I think you will prioritize what you want, right? You prioritize, I don't know, looking good in the morning if you want to look good in the morning. You prioritize your relationship if you want a healthy relationship. So like prioritizing what's important to you.
Yeah.
And making the decision to switch off the TV at 6 o'clock. Like you don't have to watch TV. You can sit and work on your computer.
That's true.
And so that's the difference. I think it's just we just don't prioritize it.
Yeah.
We kind of sit and we hope, and we'll sit on YouTube and watch people's lives and like, oh, I wish one day I could be like Michelle. And you're like, yeah, but Michelle gets home and she
Like scripting videos.
yes,
and
like so we have this thing of like we want to, and I hate this word, but like we want to manifest our best life, right? It's just like we wish and we pray and we hope
it's going to come
that
to us and we don't have to
with
move.
some like revelation or whatever. And obviously we serve like a God that is fully able to put R1 million in your bank account, but he's also given you the skills like
Yeah.
100% to do
Yeah.
that for yourself. So it's just the decisions, I think.
Yeah, I love that so much. When you say that, I'm reminded of a scripture I was reading the other day. I don't remember where it is, but it's the one where Jesus turns water into wine. And I thought to myself, isn't it so interesting that before Jesus did the miracle, he asked people to bring something to him, which was the water, and then eventually turns it into wine, which for me was such a big testament that like you can't expect a miracle when you're not willing to bring anything to God. And that anything could be your time. Could be like you sitting in the computer, not watching TV and saying, I'm going to do some research on this thing and see how it's going to work out. I'm going to be part of a members club. I'm going to get this course and I'm going to do this so I can keep moving. I love that so much. And it just made me easily think of that. And getting into promotions and working, because there's a lot of people who are side hustling. I don't think that not everybody has the privilege, or at least the space and the time to quit their job and get into something.
Yeah.
And there's people that really want to start a side hustle, but also do well in their workplaces. What are the biggest tips to get a promotion? Like how do we actually just start being well enough in our workplaces to be promoted?
Geez, I have no idea. I have never gotten a promotion in my life.
Really?
No. I don't know how to get a promotion. I always tell people like I have very little experience with corporate. I
Yeah.
worked for the state. I worked for the Department of the Western Cape, and then I worked for the City of Cape Town.
Yeah.
And then I went into business. So like I don't have the Deloitte or IBM experience. I don't
Yeah.
have that like corporate girly. Never wore like high heels just to work.
Yeah.
Like I've never had that experience. But I have had to fight for positions in my job, obviously, because that's the thing. And I think it's about valuing your work, but also being good at it. I think like there is. What kids say, I'm stepping on throats now and like coming for necks or something. But like there's a level of mediocrity that exists with us that we aren't able to like we don't take ourselves seriously.
We just do the bare minimum and expect to be congratulated for it.
Yeah. So like that's always been the thing. And obviously like I say this knowing that some people are really good at their work and
Yeah.
there is other, forces against them that
Yeah.
stop them doing that. But like I've seen people that have come up to me and said this thing like want something, and I'm just like I don't know, would you hire you? So that's the difference. It's
Yeah.
just like I think there's we have to do our 10,000 hours.
Yeah.
And there's a level and a dedication to our craft that we have to get to
Yeah.
before expecting reward from other people. And I don't know if we're getting there. And if you are, and it's like other things, racism or feminism or whatever the case is,
Yeah.
then that's obviously something else. But like the reason why I was blocked when I tried to get a promotion was like bureaucracy, right? Where it was like, oh no, you don't have the right degree or you don't have the right papers or
Yes.
whatever. So like in that situation, I just moved. I found another job.
Yes.
But yeah, it's just about I don't know. I don't think
Yeah.
we work hard enough.
You've made such a valid point around like just being good enough at what you do and taking pride in what you do. I was listening to a podcast episode yesterday or the day before yesterday of Leila Hamosi, and it was like a podcast dedicated to women specifically, and she was addressing like the whole feminism and like women being paid less. And one of the important things she mentioned was like sometimes it's not because you're not getting promoted or you're not getting the business because you're a woman. It's just that you're not good enough yet.
Yeah.
And I was like, that was such a light bulb, because we can easily kind of make those things the reason why we're not getting our promotion or we're not getting the business. But it's like, what if you just became better?
Yeah, I mean there is case for both, right? So sometimes yes,
Absolutely.
the world does hate women and the world does
Yes.
hate black people. Like
Completely.
it's like a it's an unfortunate thing. But even within those spaces, it's like, are you the best
Yeah.
at your thing? Would you be able to take your CV somewhere else and get the recognition that you so desire? But yeah, people.
Yeah, it's a very interesting conversation. We work, and I know you guys as well do work with a lot of people who want to start their businesses. And one of the biggest things I hear is like, oh, Michelle, I'm waiting to register at CIPC if you're like in South Africa or it's whatever governing body. I'm waiting to register my LLC so I can start conducting business. And then they do that, and then the business is there, the website is there, and people feel stuck. And one of the core things that we talk a lot about is sales. And I'm quite intrigued to hear from you because maybe the first question pertaining this conversation around selling is, what do you think are the key fundamentals to selling better?
Ooh, to selling better. Okay, so firstly, the caveat is like, I think we underestimate the amount of time we need to put into selling.
Yeah.
You spend 6 months building your product or building your business, and then you expect to sell in 1 hour, or you dedicate 1 hour to selling, which is a little bit weird. But so, so I'm about frameworks. I'm like, I'll just develop a framework like in my mind. I'm just like,
Yeah.
okay, this is the process. But one of the keys, I suppose, was with selling. So Kabana and I developed a framework we call the SMART. SMART stands for super offer, marketing, systems. A is automation, R is recurring revenue or repeat purchases, and then T is traffic. And that's basically the fundamental of how you build. That's how you sell,
Yeah.
right? Is that a lot of us miss the selling because we're not able to build an offer. Like when I say offer, it's the thing that you do that gives the people transformation. Not
Yeah.
that you're a digital marketer, not that you have a beauty salon, not that you sell vases. Like the ultimate thing that people are looking for. And we spend weeks. We have a program called Fast Track. And we spend weeks developing people's offers because even when you come in with a business idea, like understanding inherently that you don't have an offer is a really, really hard place to be.
That's true.
Because if you're not able to tell people what you do in like 30 seconds and how you're able to help them, you probably don't have an offer.
Yeah.
And not what service you sell, but effectively what you are able to do for them. Because that's the other thing, is that we kind of build businesses for ourselves and not for the people that ultimately we're trying to serve, who also ultimately have our money in their hands. So then M is for marketing systems, is that we don't take marketing seriously as business owners.
Yeah.
That I think, it's our responsibility as business owners to become marketers, because that's what you're doing, is
Yeah.
that you are a marketer
Yeah.
for the thing that you are, for the offer that you're providing. And so we don't spend a lot of time in marketing. I know this because marketing was always like, so I'm obviously, not obviously, but I'm a hard skills person. I'm a builder, I'm a construction project manager. So I'm an engineer by profession. And marketing's always been like, those are the commerce people. I'm too intelligent to be a
Yeah,
marketer. Like,
come on.
no. I'm far, far, far cleverer than this.
Yeah.
But marketing is actually, it's the understanding and the process that you have to take to ultimately understand and be able to communicate with the person that you're trying to help,
Yes.
but also get money from. And so we don't spend a lot of time on that.
Yeah.
We rely on things like social media management or whatever, or social media marketing,
Yeah.
but not actually understanding the power of it,
Yeah.
but also the intent of it. And then you try and outsource your marketing, which is like, it is possible. Like, there does come a point in your business where you can outsource your marketing, but I think a lot of people outsource their marketing too early on. Like, you kind of rely on someone. You're going to pay this person whatever 5,000 rand and hope they're going to manage your social media, and then you're like, but I'm not getting sales. You're just like, but they're not selling your thing. Like,
Yeah.
they're just posting pictures on you.
You've just set free a lot of like social media managers, because I can imagine that's what they go through.
Yes.
Like somebody's like, it's been a month. Like, where are the sales? What are we?
But that's
not
not
working.
that's not the role of your social team. Like, that's just not the function that
Yeah.
they're supposed to execute. And then, so I was talking about my framework. Sorry, SM.
Yeah.
A is for automation.
So, sorry, Nyanki, just
Yes.
before you move on from marketing, I want to ask you this question while we're still there. Do you think that in this day and age of like virality and social media and brand building, that there is a certain wave of small business owners or just business owners kind of only depending on building a brand to be what markets the business? And what are your thoughts on that?
I'm so like torn with branding because like I understand it inherently. Again, like I'm not a marketer, right?
Yeah.
I know how to do marketing because it's something that I've practiced and developed. And so I do get the branding aspect, but I do think that a lot of us get stuck on the branding, right? We focus on the logos, we focus on the colors, we focus on the pictures, we focus on the way that, it makes us feel without actually considering our customers. Like I always tell people, like my fast track girlies, that if your customer is not a pink person, your business is not a pink brand. Like leave the pink. Like nobody wants the pink.
Yeah.
You want the pink. You love the pink, but they may not like the pink. And so like it's very important that you actually understand who your customer is. And so being able to use tools like social to communicate with people is actually really important, and you do that by building or facilitating or stepping into community. Like I'm a big believer in community, and I think a lot of us try and do this thing in isolation where we're like, I do this thing and nobody else does it or whatever, but being able to find people that do similar things to you is really important. But because they're also working with similar people. Like we have this like, Gabana loves to talk about it, but we have this like scarcity mentality that because Michelle and I both do sales, like we can't therefore talk about our clients, or we therefore can't, discuss what we're talking about. And it's like, it's very limiting because iron does need to sharpen iron. And that's how you become a better marketer. That's how you become a better business owner, by speaking at and talking to other business owners, right? If you sell vases and someone else sells vases, hey, how's your vase company going, right? It's not that, anyway.
Got you.
Yes.
Got you. Okay, cool. So then the A is for automation.
Yes.
Okay.
Automations is obviously the scalability thing, right? Is that, especially when we're starting out, we don't think about the future of our business and the scalability of our business. You have to think about how, if you were going to, we always pray. I say this: we pray for rain, but we don't get our umbrellas out. We don't build our huts. So, like, if you were going to get the 100 customers that you've been praying for, your business would probably sink. And I know this because it's happened to me. Like I literally woke up one day to 300 orders and I had to pack 300 boxes. And then I'm just like, this is now a curse. I don't want to do this anymore. Because then your customer experience is like completely ruined. And so like, I think it's really important that when we're thinking about our business, we consider the systems that we put in place for the bajillion customers that we're hoping for, and like preemptively. It's difficult obviously to know what that looks like, but continuously learning and developing and iterating those processes in your business to make it seamless for both onboarding, servicing, and offboarding your customers.
I like that, because it basically like prepares you to not be a small business for too long.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's automations. And then R is for repeat and recurring customers. So repeat customers always says, like, as business owners, when we're trying to sell, we're always thinking of like new customers. And I really this is one thing I'm like, I don't want to say I hate it, but like it really bothers me about social, is that everybody's like, I want to get new followers. It's like, service the people that you have currently. Like, there's people that are on your page. You've got 400 people following you on social media. Talk to those people. Like, stop looking for the next 500 people for them to miraculously come up. And what are they going to find when they get there? Absolutely nothing, because you're not servicing the people that you currently have. So it's about getting the people that you have service to either refer people if it's not a repeatable subject, or to buy offer, or to buy from you again. Like, if you've done good work, people will continue to come for you and so that's the it's as part of selling. And then T is for traffic, like actually using the tools that you have to get more traffic. That's basically smart, and that's how you sell. That's
well, thank you for giving us that. It was like a masterclass.
Yes, there
basically.
You go. We have an ebook as well about it, so it will send it to you or whatever.
Awesome. Yeah, that actually would be nice. nice. And we're going to put the Club She Is details on the description as well for people who want to get to know like more of kind of your frameworks and the work that that you do, because this was very powerful. It's like basically summing up your business processes from like start to sustainability to like moving forward.
Correct.
I like that a lot. I really, really do. A couple of years ago, actually, briefly after COVID, I landed a client from Silicon Valley. Opened my eyes up to like so many things I didn't realize were happening in the business world globally. And one of those things that I landed up on was sales funnels. And I thought to myself, that's so interesting. And me being myself, I went and I looked at who's the best in the game, and I found Russell Branson. Is that his name? I'm saying it right. Is it Russell Branson? Yeah. And then he had like this, I think it was a 21-day or 7-day challenge course thing. It was running on Facebook. I registered for that and I went through it and I was like, great. And towards the end, I was like, this is really awesome. I learned a lot. However, I found funnels for myself exhausting. I found funnels for myself like sometimes a bit too complicated. And I know it's one of those things that like you've built over the course of the years and you really understand very well. And I want to start it here because I think funnels are very important. I think every business must have a sales funnel. And I want to take it from like the beginning for like the small business owner who's like making her products from her kitchen and she's selling via WhatsApp and Instagram and she hasn't built a funnel yet. What is a sales funnel?
If I'd known this question was going to come up, would have prepared for this one. Okay, so what is a sales funnel?
Yes.
A sales funnel is a customer journey. It is the journey that you take a complete stranger to a raving fan.
Yeah.
It's the process and the way that you design your customer experience to take Michelle or a Michelle as a person that I've never spoken to.
Yeah.
The first thing that you do is you greet her. The second thing you do is say hello, you introduce yourself and what you do. The third thing is that you put your offer in front of, you tell Michelle what you do and you know how she can pay you. The fourth thing is you deliver your thing or you sell, you pay for the transaction that happens.
Yeah.
The fifth thing is that she may review the product because that's also one thing that we always miss, like part of your funnel. So reviewing. The fifth thing is maybe you get ask her to buy again or whatever. So a sales funnel is effectively a customer journey. How that works in the digital world or how that works on the internet is that we build funnels by using things that we call landing pages and sales pages, which are very similar. No, they're not very similar. A little bit different to websites in that a website is, if you can think about a shopping mall. A shopping mall has got different shops, and inside each shop you've got kitchenware and you've got vases and you've got plants and you've got podcast mics. A sales funnel or a sales page is the salesperson that when you pick up the vase, everything that person is going to say to you about that vase to get you to buy that vase, that is a sales page.
So it's product specific.
It's very it's only product specific. What differentiates a sales funnel or a sales page from a website is that where a website may have lots of call to action, so a website may have meet the team and our location and about us and our vision and our mission statement and all our products. A sales page primarily has one product and one call to action. So it's giving you all the information that you need to learn about this one thing, one offer, and giving you one call to action. And that one call to action is to buy it. There's obviously intricacies and variations on how you can continue to build. You can upsell people and you can downsell people, but effectively the idea of a sales page is if you have one person that you are talking to, offering them one product on one page, giving them one call to action, that is what a sales page is. And so that's what building a funnel is. It's about developing those processes so that you are communicating with that person effectively so that they know exactly what it is that you do. Because going back to the mall example, you put someone in a mall, Michelle will go look at the makeup, Nyaki will go look at the plants, everybody will go everywhere they want to. But with the sales page, you can only do that one thing, which then drives your conversion. Because that's the difference between a website and a landing page or a sales page, is that your conversion rates are much higher, right? So if 100 people go onto your website, 2 people may contact you or may look at your vision statement or whatever the thing is. But if people land on your sales page, which is what the traffic in the T is about, is that there's only one thing for them to do. And that usually that thing is to buy or to opt in or to learn more or whatever the call to action is.
Whew, that was well explained. Thank you for that. Do you think that there's wisdom in service-based business to have one core offering? And I asked this because I don't know if you know, there's a lady called Vanessa Lau. Back in the years, she used to have the Boss Gram, and that was like her big offering. There was a sales page around it, and I mean, now she's taken a different direction. But I took like her entire course, and one of the things that they were talking about was like the different offerings, especially if you want to be a creator, etc., etc. And now I'm starting to ask myself: is there wisdom in service-based businesses having a big core offering, and instead of now having a website, just now having a sales page?
Yes, that's exactly how you should do it. You shouldn't even have a website. There is no need for anybody to have a website.
Yeah.
I say no need, but like obviously everybody wants a website because you want to be Googleable. But the difference basically, like even in terms of like the extrinsic value of the difference, like on the actual internet, is that a website is searchable. So like if someone searches Michelle Expert, they'll find everything that they need on a website. Whereas generally landing pages are not. Landing pages are things that you will direct people to via traffic. So whether you're going to use paid media or you're going to be using social. But the idea is that, for example, I see you've got your CEO blueprint. That CEO blueprint deserves and needs like an entire sales funnel, its own funnel. Like the product that you have is like that thing is the only thing that should ever be on your sales page, and that's what you're selling. You're telling us what it's for, you're telling us who it's what transformation I'm going to get. You're telling me about the reviews, you're telling me giving me a glimpse of what's inside. So when you send traffic to that, you're not sending traffic to Michelle Expert, because the problem is when you send traffic to Michelle Expert, then I'm like, but she also does this, but look at this, what about this thing? And then what happens? We don't actually end up
Like
buying.
decision fatigue.
And so if you are able to then, like top of funnel, you are communicating to people the CEO blueprint this is what we do, this is who it's for, and you're sending people, like, someone will see that on Instagram and you've already caught their attention, and you're sending them directly to the CEO blueprint. That person is like more likely to convert than if you send them to Michelle Expert,
Like a
and then they're
generic
like,
website.
what about the one-on-one coaching? I wonder if she does this thing. And so like that's where the miss is. So yes, absolutely, service-based businesses, you have to
So how do we then use what you've said if we have different service offers?
you build multiple sales pages.
Interesting.
Yes, and you send traffic differently to them, and you communicate differently to them, because the person who's buying the CEO blueprint is not the same person who's buying your one-on-one coaching.
Absolutely.
It's not the same person who's buying your agency services. You will not find our agency services. Kapano and I run an agency. You won't find that anywhere other than the people that we are sending that to, because we've pre-qualified those people, and we know using Facebook or Meta ads that those are the people that, number one, can afford the thing that we're selling, because that's one thing, but also are in need of the thing that we're selling. And so that's the difference, is that your one-on-one coaching has its own sales page, and it has its own copy, it has its own communication, because what you are saying to that person who's reading this thing is that you are able to help them one-on-one. They're able to get this transformation. This is the value add that you're going to get. Very, very different to someone who's getting a CEO blueprint. Because what happens is that we usually put them together, and then someone feels like, I'm getting like a subpar product by not getting the coaching, because I can't afford the coaching, and now you know what I mean? Like,
100%.
Sorry.
I could listen to you talking for a very long time, because it's like so much knowledgeable stuff, and I think you've got such a great ability of taking things that are very complicated and simplifying them, and like making them A, B, C, D, and E. Like that's it. It's not like different moving parts. And I love that you're actually using CEO Blueprint in my brand, because I'm like, girl, I'm about to call you after this. I'm about to get you and Kopana on the phone, and we got work to do, because this is such an important conversation. Does this also apply to product-based businesses as well?
One service, one product, one offer. So inside of Club She Is, we have one of the first courses that we do. Kopana did it. It's called OPP, one product purchase. I forgot the name. I'm sorry. One OPP, one product purchase or something like that. But it teaches you like the one product framework. Like it's really, really important. Even if you've got an e-commerce store, you have to find and like the metrics and the business behind this. And obviously this is where you as your coaching will come in, is that you have to find the product that is going to have the highest conversion, that is probably going to have the highest markup. So the cheapest product for you to buy, but the thing that you can make the most money on, that would be your one OPP, right? Because that's the thing that's your golden Skopano would call it your golden egg.
Yeah.
And so like finding the golden egg even in the e-commerce store is important, because that's going to be the driving force behind your entire process.
Yeah.
Everything else is an ancillary. Everything else is an upsell or a downsell, right? Someone comes in for the CEO blueprint. Oh, by the way, we also have this one book. Oh, but we also have a pen, but we also have this thing. And so that's how you're able to upsell people. But the value add is always going to be the one product.
Sure. That is, I hope if you're watching this, you're being mind blown, because I'm being mind blown as well. Like there's so many nuggets and things that we can really take into our businesses, because I think, I was reading a stat the other day, and it says about 72 to 80% of businesses fail within the first 2 to 5 years.
Yeah.
And I mean, there's a lot of socioeconomic issues and a lot of things, but I realize that sometimes it's because we don't have such information and we don't really know where to start. It's like we start a business, especially in this country where we start businesses because of the economics of the stomach.
Yeah.
So a business has started because there was a demand in my community, or in the people that I know, and I'm unemployed, and I'm now just like starting this thing, and now it grows, and it's like, what do I do next, and how do I move forward? So I think it's important to kind of hop onto that. You spoke about community, and I want to talk a little bit about that, because that's what Club She Is does the most. You guys were the first people I saw in South Africa do a paid membership. I don't know if you guys were actually like the first, like in the whole continent, but you guys are the first people I saw, and I thought to myself, this is very interesting. What was the intention behind that?
Yeah, to ask Kopano. But I know, like, so the premise of community, right, is that, so ultimately, and the reason why Kopano and I connect really well is because we both believe in community, and in community that holds you accountable. And so accountability, which was a definition that I learned a little while ago, is that accountability, if Michelle asked me to be if you asked me to be your accountability partner, it's not me checking up on you. It's you coming to tell on yourself on me, right? It's you coming in and saying, Yaki, I'm struggling with this thing. And that is how people are able to hold you accountable. And so that's the beauty of community, is that you can hold, or you have a space where you can be held accountable.
Yeah.
And so that's the beauty of any community. And so that's the beauty of Club She Is, is that, we find ourselves as, especially women, where we're like, oh no, I don't know what to do, or I don't have this thing, or whatever. But if you tell someone will help you.
Yeah.
Like that's a lot of us struggle because we don't actually speak up. A lot of us are in the situations that we're in because we don't actually tell people what's going on.
Yeah.
And because it's not a safe space, and the internet's full of bad people.
Yeah.
But in community, you can find safety, and you can find your people. And I love community, all kinds of community. And it's because of that. It's because you can find your people, and you can be vulnerable in those spaces, and
That's
you can
true.
get the help that you need.
Yeah. Have you ever been scared to do anything?
Oh, I get scared all the time. Fear is a normal part of life. I get scared all the time.
Yeah. How I actually first met you online is that you had a hair company. I think it was like
Yes.
before COVID and a bit after COVID. And you've kind of transitioned and expanded into a lot of avenues. And I know that there's a lot of entrepreneurs and a lot of people that kind of feel guilt around starting new businesses, or quitting a business that they were doing, or quitting a side hustle that they'd started but it's not working out anymore. How do you know that it's time to pivot to the next thing, or if you should at all?
I pivoted lots. So I used to own a restaurant, and then I started Natural Hair Co. And now I'm in. Ultimately, I think there's two things, right? So we start businesses, and if this is the right reason why you start businesses to help people, right? So if you feel that you don't have the capacity or the desire to help those people, that's the right time to pivot.
Okay.
Right? If your heart is not in it, then that's when you should do it, because then you end up not helping people. And that's basically the thing, is like if you hate your business, and you hate the business because the customers are really annoying and whatever, you just hate, like, how many times can you tell someone to wash their hair? Like that was my life, and I was just like, I'm tired of doing this. And I found, like, you find yourself not serving people.
Okay.
And that's when it's time to pivot. The danger, or the disadvantage, or the sadness comes in, I think, when people think that because they're changing businesses, everything that they've learned and everything that they've experienced up until now previously doesn't count. And like, that's a fallacy, because where you've built your 10,000 hours and what you've developed overall, like, grows you as a person, where who you are 5 years ago, even with all the failures and all the like nonsense that you've gone through in your previous businesses or side hustles or experiences, like, that makes you and ultimately needs to make you a better person. And if it doesn't, that's probably where the problem is. But like, I don't think people should feel guilty for wanting to change things up because it no longer serves them or whatever. But like, ultimately, it's that if you are not able to serve, then you shouldn't be in that space, because that's where the burnout thing comes out, and that's where the resentment thing comes in. But like, if you don't find joy in the thing that you're doing, you're not going to be able to give joy to people, and so don't do it anymore.
And I also want to ask you this, because this is the other side of the coin, is that the joy can easily leave when the business is growing, and now I need to apply more systems, and now I need to kind of do a lot of the groundwork to sustain this business, and that can easily take away my joy, even if I love what I do, even if it's still generating money and I'm still there. How would you advise somebody to mitigate that situation?
So outsource. Like, honestly, like, we're currently in the process. So Kabano and I have built this business both understanding that we have a lot of value to offer the world, right? I came out of agency earning a lot of money. I've turned down lots of work. Kapano also, same thing. She works and she's worked in, like, Kapano could be the CEO of any, or the CMO of any company. Like, she's a brilliant person. But like, we forego those things because we understand what we want to do, and the type of life that we want to live, right? And so the scary part is that if you are not operating or doing things in your business that bring you ultimate fulfillment, but also that are moving the needle forward, then outsource them, right? So like, right now, we have a podcast. We don't like editing. I don't like editing. I told Kapan, I'm like, I don't know if I'm going to edit. I tried it, and it was like, something that could take someone, a video editor, 5 minutes, will take me 5 hours to do. And that's a waste of my time. It's a waste of my time, but also, like, I don't desire to do this thing. And so, like, positioning, obviously we say this from a huge place of privilege. I get that. Like, I do hear myself when I'm saying this, is that you can, as a business owner, especially early stage, outsource the parts of your business that don't, the busy parts of your business that don't require you. Because if you are not, it's opportunity cost, ultimately, right? If you are doing something, if I'm editing videos for 5 hours, that means I'm not building funnels for 5 hours.
That's true.
And so that's the difference.
Interesting.
Is that just ping it off to someone.
Yeah. What's your biggest advice to small business owners in 2024?
My biggest advice, you see, I always do this, and then people always ask me this, and I'm like, take yourself seriously. Like, I think that's, like, in all things is, we're not in the business of manifesting our businesses, like, or manifesting our lives. Like, that's just not what we believe. Faith builds, and you have to build. Like, you have to take you have to take yourself seriously. Switch off the TV. Like, cancel the dinner plans. Obviously, have a life, but understand inherently that nobody's coming to save you. That's true for a lot of us. And if you truly believe that you are called for this, and if you truly believe that this is what you're going to be, this is what you're doing, there are resources that you can tap into. Like, it's not, we always get the thing of like, oh, I want to do this, but I can't afford your programs. It's like, but there's thousands of hours of endless content on YouTube, free. Read your books. Like, it's just, there's no excuse for you to say, like, I don't know how to do something because, or I can't do something because I don't know how to do it. Like, I don't know.
Yeah. Thank you, Nyaki. This has been such a fruitful conversation. Very impactful, notes-taking conversation. I'm going to be taking a lot of notes. Thank you so much for joining us and having this conversation with us. It's been such a pleasure and an honor to extract all of those nuggets and all of that knowledge all the way from you to us on the Resonate podcast.
It's an absolute pleasure.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Resonate community. I hope that you enjoyed that as much as I did. And I hope that you're taking a lot of notes, because Nyaki dropped some gems that you're going to need today to use in her business. And if you need more information around Club She Is, we've got a link down below if you're watching this on YouTube, where you can click and see more about what they offer and how they can help your business. Thank you so much for tuning in. We love you guys, and we'll see you on our next podcast episode. Goodbye.